and will be made available a few days afterwards to watch if you want to refresh your memory. Or from time to time, you might sign up for these programs, not be able to make it, and just know that it'll be recorded and you can watch it later.
We go ahead and record it ourselves, though, because
I don't know either. I've never tried.
Permission.
Do I? Where do I get that permission?
I don't know. That's good.
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute.
If I hit the record button, it asks that the host is okay with that. Let's see. Please ask the host to give you permission to record.
Yeah, from what I understand, the driver of the bus gives the permissions.
Yeah, but I don't want to take the time of 50 people to figure it out. So for this month, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. And then I'll figure it out for the next time, and going forward, we'll allow you to record that. We don't know for sure how long this will go, an hour or two. If it's going to go longer, we'll take a break. People are getting Zoom fatigue. Some people are getting tired, so we'll watch that. We're doing we're exploring the world of online. We're all learning this together. We've learned a lot. We got a lot to learn. And if you have suggestions from tonight or from your own experience on how we can improve these kinds of programs, please let me know. We're very interested to do that. We're also trying to learn how to teach online to be effective, because we're not labeled. We don't see our ability to do face-to-face for quite a while. And even when we get back to face-to-face, we'll probably end up with a hybrid world, because we saved a lot of commuting time, and some of the stuff that we need can be taught this way. We have 10 people doing an online Zoom class on relief carving using the Max Sutter program that he taught for 40 years. This is part of the heritage rebuilding for his work in creating and forming the Western Woodcarvers Association. That ends right before Christmas. We'll repeat that starting in mid-January. So if you have an interest in experimenting with us, trying to learn and go deeper into relief carving, let us know. The group that started will continue on, and we're going to try to do all 12 patterns that he did. At the one class will do 3, because you can't do all of them all at once. Terry Burnside, who you might see is on our board of directors, and Terry and Roger Crooks developed the website that we have. And he is going to be doing a program on wood spirits carving for probably 2 hours in January, as a way to test the waters to see if anybody wants to actually do a class on that. Terry's been carving for 20 years, moves here from Florida, has a lot of experience in carving, and others of you may have as well. But we'll do some experimenting with that. The January program is on Leroy Setzoil. Leroy had 1,000 pieces of carving in his lifetime when he died, I think in 2005, in an auto accident at age 82. He's one of the most documented carvers in Oregon history. Did a lot of the work at Salishan Lodge on the coast, some at Skamania Lodge.
They were back.
Okay, thank you, Gil. And did a lot of work elsewhere. So he's the speaker there, and encourage you to sign up in advance of that. Again, sign up is free. So feel free. Gil is donating 4 knives. He'll talk about them a little bit later, but we're going to do a random draw so 4 of you who showed up tonight will not walk away, but you'll be mailed one of the 4 knives. And the random number generator turns out to be a mathematical function not by me, but by Terry Burnside. So he took the registration list, used a random number generator, and generated a list of names and prioritized those based on the randomness. And so he's got 4 of you picked, and he'll announce that later. And whoever wins, those addresses will be given to Gil, and Gil will mail them out. So that's the most efficient way we could do this. So I think that's it. So Gil, are we ready, do you think? I'm going to Okay, I'm going to spotlight Gil. Gil is still north of Seattle, and he's there for a couple more weeks, and then he's going to move to Arizona for some months. And he says he's got better internet connection in Arizona than he does here. So we had good luck with this program last time when he did the tour of his factory and show us how he made his knives. And this one is going to be demonstrating the caricature carving thing. We will attempt to make it interactive. If you have a question, I ask that you put it on chat. You can chat to me or chat to everyone, and I'll monitor that chat window and feed Gil the questions so he doesn't have to try to keep his eyes on those. It's only because with about 50 people on, it's really hard to kind of interrupt and ask questions. So, Colin, if you can hear me, could you mute your microphone?
Is that Control A or Alt A? Did it work? Can you
no.
hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay. Is it Control A or Alt A to mute? How do you mute the microphone? Okay,
just try to
Is that
figure
better?
out how to. No.
There should be a button on the lower left of your screen.
Yeah, depending on which device. There you go. You're all set. Okay, Gil, I will let you take it. Just really a huge thanks for Gil for doing this. He's had a really, really busy, positively busy schedule for all of his work. So he's got a massive backlog he's got to work off, and in spite of that, he's given us time to do this work. So go ahead, Gil. It's all yours.
Well, I'd like to welcome all of you, and I appreciate all of my carving friends out there. And I'm just kind of getting my feet wet on doing a carving demo. So if you'll bear with me, there'll be some commentary, but not a lot. And mostly it's going to be a demo. And what I'd like to do is, if you can see here, there's a series of castings of this carving that I'm going to do tonight, starting with number 1 through 6 to the finished carving. So this is what we'll be carving tonight, and I'll attempt to finish that tonight. So I'm just going to start with this step. This will be the number 1 step. It shows setting up or blocking in the piece, and then it progresses through that. So I'm just going to go for it. If you have any questions, ask me. So, well, let's do this.
You might describe the individual knives you're using as you switch around too, Gil.
I'm sorry, do what?
You might describe which knife you're using.
Well, the knife I'm using is one of the knives that'll be given away, and all 4 of these knives are the same. They're actually a hollow ground knife that I'm experimenting with now, but they seem to be working really well. So all 4 of these knives are the same. Okay. And what they are is just a straight cutting edge hollow ground, about 1.5 inches. Narrow up. And we're going to be carving the face on the corner of the block. As you can see by this example, this is what I'm doing. I'm taking off the sides right now. So that will be the back of the head. And so we're going to carve the face on the front of the block, on the corner of the block. So what I'm doing now is I'm setting where the eyes are going to go. And this will be the bottom of the nose.
Brian asked a question. He said, "Forgive my newness, but I think the question is, you must have an idea of the finished carving before you begin." That's correct, right? So you have a go by.
This is finished carving right here.
Maybe the question is, do you ever try to wing it and just try to design and carve on the fly?
I do. Yeah, sometimes I just decide after I start, but basically, pretty much all the carvings that I have here is blocked in the same way. So this is the bottom of the nose, and now this, what the cut I'm making now will be the chin.
What species of wood is it? Is it basswood?
This basswood, yeah.
Basswood. So you've carved this one before.
I want to set where the ear block is going to go, and that pretty much lines up with the center line of the eye, which is right here. And the bottom of the ear block is about the bottom of the nose. It's a good reference point. So I want to mark both sides that way.
Gil, for us mere mortals who are beginning caricature carvers, would we put pencil marks on the block before we do it, or would we try to wing it?
Yeah, it's a good idea. Well, you don't really line because you're carving a corner of the block. But yeah, to do pencil lines first might be a good idea. But I've carved so many, I don't really need to do that. So what I'm doing is narrowing the head to bring the ears out from the block. So I'm going to do stop cuts here and here, and then I'll come back to it.
So just to let you know, your video on my screen is stopped. We'll see if it resynchronizes. There we go.
Are we okay?
Yeah, it seemed to be back. Are you in the back of the head or the front of the head now?
This is the side of the head, and this will be the ear block.
Okay.
I think you can see that here. These are the ear blocks. You can see what I've done so far. So well, basically, I'm raising the ears. I'm creating a block so I can. So I need that to both. Made this. Top and bottom. So now this wood above the ear blocks is waste wood. As you can see, that'll be cut away here and here. I think whoever gets these knives, I think they'll be happy with them. They cut extremely well. You can see now that we've pretty much completed to this step. So the next step will be this block.
So Gil, let me just pause for a minute. There's a really good suggestion that we all turn off our videos, or most of us turn off our videos, in order to try to improve the experience quality. And Gil, it's quite choppy in terms of the audio and video. It's not a smooth process. So just be aware that it's pretty choppy. And the suggestion was that could you stop and point to each part of the anatomy every so often?
Oh, sure. So now I need to take the wood away on the forehead of the piece. I'll start rounding the head somewhat, taking some of that wood away. I want to set the front of the ear on each side, which is about halfway back on the side of the block. I'll do a stop cut, then take the wood away in front of that stop cut. So this will be the ear block. Do a stop cut on the other side. Shape the ear, start to shape the ear a little bit. How's the video looking? Is it okay now?
It's better, yeah. It's
Okay.
better. It's not perfect.
Now I want to angle the ear from the side of the face to the back of the ear.
He asked if you were carving basswood and what the dimensions are.
The basswood that I'm using is about an inch and a half square.
Yeah. Okay, so basswood 1.5 inch square.
Right. So right now I'm going to set the jawline of the piece. I'll start right under the ear. Take that triangular chip away on both sides. And now I'll stop cut the jawline. I want to stop cut the hairline on the back of the head.
So Gil, Tony asked what year did you start carving?
I've probably been carving for like 30 years or more. We used to do a lot of both in the Northwest, and when we went both wood and carve much, whatever. But some of the ugliest ducks you ever saw was my first carving. So.
They floated.
But they floated, yeah. Just doing a little rough shaping. Now I want to continue to rough shape the head.
So one of the, just repeat for if you didn't hear it earlier, everybody, just if you have a chance, turn your video off. That will preserve bandwidth and increase the chances that we'll have a smoother overall video experience.
Now I'm going to create a plane where the eyes are going to go. I'm going to come up at an angle to the side of the nose to that point, and then take that chip away. Do the same on this side. Okay, now I want to define the width of the nose by these stop cuts. And that's just a straight in cut, stop cut. And then I'll take this triangular chip off the side. This will be the expression line that I'm cutting right now. So this is also creating the dental plane here. Take it a little bit off the corner of the nose. I'm going to lay my knife on the side of the nose and go up to the inside corner of the eye. Just a straight stop cut. And the top of that cut off to the side. And then I'll take that chip out. Take some wood off the cheek. Do the same on the other side. It's a little bit more difficult for me carving on the top of the table. Usually I'm carving in my lap.
Gil, are you still working on the first casting model, or have you switched to the second one?
Well, I've gone way past that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
For more to hear, this shows development of the hairline. I haven't quite gotten there yet, but I'm kind of in between this one and this one.
Okay. So there was a request that says to, as you go along, to show each block and slowly turn it around for the camera so we can see each in order and in the round.
Okay. So we've gone from number 3 to number 4. So what I'm going to do now is create the hairline with stop cuts and define the ear some more. And I'll also be working on the nose. So I'll start with the sideburn here.
Gil told me earlier that he had these casts are go-bys, they're cast, and there's a kit of them that he sells for this carving. So you can order them. I think he said $50 for the kit. So if you want to reproduce this model, you can. And there are a lot of models around for other castings. So if you want to reproduce something, it's a good way to go.
Yeah, these are some castings I made, of course, I made myself from the progression of this model. So I've done my stop cuts for the hairline. And I'll come back to the stop cuts.
So Gil, maybe a question from a newbie perspective is, you know, at this early stage, as you roughed it out and you're forming it, what's the riskiest part?
What is the riskiest part?
Yeah, the riskiest part is, you know, maybe the question is it taking too little off because you're afraid, or taking too much off and having to throw it away and start over?
Well, the risky part was if you took too much off, or you took it off in the wrong place. But normally, like we were discussing earlier about using a pencil first, normally you would draw the hairline in with a pencil and then you would stop cut it. But as you can see now, he's coming along pretty well. You can see some character in his face already, and we'll be doing the mouth. But first I want to go to a different tool. And this is about a number 7 half-inch gouge. I'm going to shape the side of the nose.
And Gil, maybe now or later or soon, you could talk about a point that Terry Burnside brought up about some caricatures are not symmetrical, that they're not balanced left to right, that sometimes you want, particularly in expressions, you might want to have the left side or the right side be distorted and different. Can you talk anything about the symmetry versus asymmetry in some of these?
I don't worry too much about symmetry. I try to get them to look natural and not goofy looking, but in general, I just kind of wing it. Some people are real picky about that, and they'll make sure it's absolutely symmetrical. But in a caricature carving, I don't think it's that critical. But as long as you're fairly close, and as you can see, that's pretty symmetrical.
I guess the point was maybe that if you wanted to be goofy, you would in fact be asymmetrical.
That's correct, you would.
Right. And maybe a corollary of that is if you screw up and take off too much of something on the mouth, you might in fact decide to make it goofy and use that as a fixing strategy instead of trying to start over.
Yeah, in many cases you can compensate by taking an equal amount off on the other side to make it more symmetrical. But now I'm going to, let's see, probably about to number 5 already on this carving. So I'm going to go ahead and do some more work on the nose and the nostrils. So basically what I do with that is I just make a triangular cut on the side of the nose. And I try to go to the same spot on the other side and make the same cut. And above that is wastewood, so I'll take that away.
Okay, maybe you could just pause for a minute and slow down and just show the carving progression after you get this next sequence of cuts done, and kind of rotate it slowly so we can see what's going on.
Okay, we'll stop here, and next I'm going to shape the ears more and get those closer to where they need to be. And then I'll carve in the mouth. It's still roughly shaped. I haven't carved in the shoulders yet. So
Gil, Tom made I think a really good suggestion. It's because the video is really choppy, and so what's happening is people aren't able to see some of the cuts in real time. You're cutting, and then the video freezes. So maybe it's the pause or hold it for a few seconds for the video to catch up.
okay. I'm not sure what you're seeing, so.
Now we're looking at your, yeah, it seems to be more or less caught up now.
Okay. So I want to carve the mouth. First, I want to make the extremes of the dental plane. So I'm going to take some wood off here and there. Maybe if I go a little slower, that'll work, huh?
I think, yeah.
So we'll give him a smiley face. So I'm going to go from one corner to the other with a stop cut. I'm going to do a little triangular cut on the corner of the mouth. And I'll take away wood down to that stop cut from the top to form the upper lip. As you can see, the mouth is a little asymmetrical, which I think gives a little more interest to the carving. I'm going to cut wood away up to the stop cut from the bottom to form the bottom lip. Now I want to narrow the chin on the bottom from the cheek.
Gil, I'm going to ask you to pause just for a second. Almost all the work you're doing is with the knife. Could you repeat and just reverbalize where you started using that number 7 gouge? So ultimately the question is how many tools does it need to do this?
I think probably just 3 tools is all you need. You need a knife, and I just use this for the side of the nose, as you saw. And I'll use a V tool for doing the texture in the hair. As you can see here, this is just a V tool cut to show the hair texture and the eyebrows and the hair. So
Okay.
basically,
So three tools.
just 3 tools. Yeah.
Is that your experience pretty common with a lot of different kinds of caricatures that you might carve? So if somebody was interested in getting, doing more caricature carving, what kind of investment would they make to get started?
The V tool, a knife, and a number 9 gouge, about a 1/4 inch number 9 like this for some of the other work. But basically, that's it. Those 3 or 4 tools should work fine for you.
Okay. Your video is still choppy, by the way, and so is the audio.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Is that because of my internet service, or do you know?
We'll blame it on you today. It could be sunspots. It could be Zoom overload. It could be students doing programs. Could be my wife on another dial-up.
It could be my neighbor down the road, right?
It's probably Microsoft. Let's blame it on Microsoft tonight. Or maybe it's Amazon. Maybe it's all those people taking all the bandwidth out of Seattle to buy all that stuff they need.
Okay, I'm going to open the lips and the mouth a little bit to give it more realism. And that would. And this makes a big difference in bringing the carving more to life.
Is this guy a toothless wonder, or do you have to deal with the teeth later?
He's not gonna. His mouth is closed. He won't have any. We won't be doing any teeth today.
Okay.
Okay, the mouth is pretty close now. I'll just a little cleft in his chin. Okay, I'm going to work on the ears a little more now.
Go back a question. I missed it also. You said there were 4 tools that you recommended: a knife, a V tool, a number 9 by a 1/4 inch, and what was the 4th tool?
The number 7, a 1/2 inch number 7.
Okay. So I'm putting that in the chat by a request.
Okay. I think Bonnie's arm's getting tired.
Getting smoked down.
She has a tough taskmaster.
Yeah.
How big of a V tool is too big, and how small of a V tool is too small?
Well, I think a 1/4 inch V tool is perfect size for this. And too small would be probably a 1/8, but a quarter or 3/16 would be fine for what we're doing here.
Okay, I just put that in the chat to everybody. And Bonnie, you got a hurrah from Yvonne in California.
Oh, thank you.
Who is that? I didn't bring one tool that I needed over here, but we'll go with
What is that?
3/16.
Mm.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut in the eyes. The eyes are not totally realistic, but they're effective for what we're doing here. Eyebrows right now. Again, normally you would pencil these in, but I'm just kind of the eye. Try to get them both the same.
Okay, you got a hard question from Marilyn, who says, where do you get your facial ideas from?
Well, they're in my head. So it's, you look at a lot of people and you try to figure out what's different about them. And sometimes I don't know, what I'm going to be ending up with when I start, but eventually it's a lot of my carvings look like they're all brothers, but and those were just 2 stop cuts to outline the pupil of the eye. And now I'm going to cut underneath. I'm going to do the bag of the eye. And again, that's just a stop cut.
So Gil and Bonnie, you got a thank you from Colin in Australia, who said, I'd like to thank you both for all the help you've given to their beginning wood carving club on Facebook.
Oh, we appreciate what you do, Colin.
And Heidi asked, said, could you talk us through again what you were doing for the eyes? I couldn't make out what the cuts were.
Okay. Well, the first cuts were to outline the eyeball itself. It was just a straight in stop cut. And then I come back and relieve to that stop cut. And then the bag of the eye just slightly under that, following that eyeball, a straight in stop cut. And then I relieve the wood up to that stop cut to bring it out from the eye. This eye a little depth, but it's a pretty simple eye and it's pretty easy eye to do. I've done eyes many different ways, realistic to this, and this just fits what I'm doing here now. So
Heidi, just my own experience, if you go to YouTube and search for carving the human eye, you'll find some other people carving large eyes. So you kind of see a bit easier what's going on for some of these details.
yeah, I'm going to relieve the wood above the eyebrows, so the eyebrows will stick out a little more. I'm going to find a pencil here. I like to pencil in the pupil of the eye. Just kind of brings them alive.
We just lost your video, Gil. Gil, can you hear us? Earth, we have technical difficulties. Assume he'll discover this in a minute. I was enthralled a couple weeks ago when they did the live blast off with the Dragon mission to the space station. To think that all that technology works, and imagining myself strapped in that device, thinking about all the things that could go right and wrong, and my mind always goes to what's going to go wrong. I'm going to fill it. I got a few comments I'll make. For those of you that get the Oregon Carvers Guild newsletter, the last issue had a focus on Will Hayden. Will is deceased, but he was a really important person in the history of carving around here. He was a friend of Tony Rizzuto's. Tony's online now. Tony did a write-up on some of his memories. But Will was inducted into became a member of the Caricature Carvers of America, CCA, and I assume you know about that. But if you don't, take a look at Caricature Carvers of America. Their website has got a terrific gallery of more ideas than you can shake a stick at. The newsletter article had some of the caricatures that Will did, plus we also put quite a few of his photos on a gallery on the website. And you can find those under the new website gallery. So I will point that out. I'm going to have Gil talk about, or ask him a question about the Northwest carving.
Larry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Can't see you, but I can hear you. I could hear you momentarily. So I got the audio. That's a good sign.
I can't even.
So the Northwest Carving Academy is an important Northwest show. It's a carving camp experience in North Central Washington and Ellensburg, and Gil was one of the co-founders of that. They bring in nationally recognized carvers and do a lot, and Gil has been one of those, but he was one of the co-founders of that. So maybe he can talk a bit more about that as well.
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. Our phone got actually turned off. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and I can see a picture on your iPhone. Yep.
Okay, let me turn it around.
Okay. Still looking at your face.
Yeah.
There we go. Now we're back.
Sorry about that. So we got audio and video, okay?
We do, yeah. We just lost the video again. Oh, no, we didn't. Hang on a minute. I got to re-spotlight you. Hang on. There we go. So what are you doing with the pencil?
Well, I was just doing the pupil of his eye so you can see this pencil's too hard.
That's why I messed up last time. And get a pencil.
Is that a decorative effect, Gil, or are you doing that so we can see what's going on?
Just so you can see what's going on.
Okay.
So I need to take more wood away on the front of the carving to get to his shoulders.
Okay, I just got a nice message that Terry Moss is president of the Northwest Carving Academy and is online. So welcome, Terry. Thank you.
Hi, Terry. How you doing?
I was mentioning during the downtime that you were one of the co-founders of the Northwest Carving Academy. So later on, I would ask you to just chat about that for a minute.
Did you take that outside?
Yeah.
I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to get too much further. We still have a problem. Still have a problem in the shop.
No, that's fine.
Do you need to abort the call, Gil, to take care of the shop?
Well, I'd like to get to a point where you can see a little bit of the texturing.
I couldn't hear you.
I'm going to, pardon me. I'm going to do a little texturing. Can you hear me okay?
No, you got a lot of echo going on. It sounds like it's, I don't know if it's interacting with your desktop or not.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have an emergency in your shop?
It's not an emergency. Our pellet stove's acting up, and it's getting a lot of smoke in the shop right now. It's not an urgency, but
You want to take a break and take care of that, and then take a 5-minute break and come back?
yeah. Why don't we do that?
Okay. So we've been an hour into this. So folks, let's come back at 3 minutes after 8 o'clock, and we'll try to resume. And if Gil is still not back, what we'll do is we'll do the name draw for the knives. So we'll get that overhead taken care of. And
I'll open the back door, Gil.
Terry, I don't know if I could put you on the spot to talk about the Northwest Carving Academy.
What?
Could you unmute
Yeah, can you hear
yourself?
me now?
I can, yes.
Well, good. Well, I want to say thanks to Gil and Bonnie for doing this. This is really cool. And thanks for mentioning the Northwest Carving Academy. You know, because of all of the COVID and the unknowns with the pandemic, we have dates for next summer, but we're still sort of tentative. But all that being said, the information is out there on that website that I posted or just shared a minute ago, with all of the classes that we're offering and info about the academy to include camping and hotels and all that stuff. So I would just encourage folks that are interested to go to that, check it out. If is there any questions at all, they could certainly reach out to me, and I'll be happy to help.
And Terry, where do you live?
I live down here near Salem and Turner.
Okay. Okay. And so normally as I recall, it's a July event. Is that right?
It is. It's July. It'll be the exact dates. I've lost them, but it's the week after the 4th of July. It's a Monday through Friday at the Kittitas County Fairgrounds, the event center there. And
can you just rattle off typical big names that you have out for instructors?
Yeah, this year we'll have Chris Hammock, Bob Travis. We have Rich Weatherby will be there.
Wayne Barton.
Thank you, Kathy. Oh my gosh, put me on the spot and now my mind has gone blank.
That's okay. Okay.
Leah Jewell. Who else is there? Mike Rifle.
Oh yeah. Mike Rifle's going to do a marionette carving. We have Northwest Native carving. We have power carving for those that are interested in birds, chip carving. There's basket weaving. If you want to work with Pat Moore and learn how to do some of her painting, she'll be there doing a class. And then of course, Randy Moore will be there with all of his rough outs. It's quite an event. I hope that people will take a look at it.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go. Jeff Harness was my mentor and instructor.
That's where I got my start as well.
Yeah, well, he was a big part of my life for a couple of years every week. I want to point out that Randy Martin was online earlier. Randy is part of the Feather and Quill Carving Club. They produced the Columbia Flyway Show, which is always the end of August, early Labor Day-ish kind of weekend, but end of August. They're struggling with the same issue about whether or not that show can go and how it's going to work. Part of it's controlled by the availability of the specific site in Vancouver. I forgot the name of the Water Bureau, the Water Board.
Right. Yeah.
But ultimately the question for everybody is whether or not if we have to continue to be locked down, how can we not only survive but thrive a little bit by doing some of this stuff online? It's pretty hard to imagine doing judging of really detailed work in a show sense. But their board is struggling with that. They're trying to figure that out, and they obviously have to play it by ear.
Well, and we as a board have decided that we're going to give this until February and see where we're at. There's all kinds of things that are still unknown to us, not only locally but nationally. And if February-ish we decide that it's a go, we'll start advertising again really hard and hopefully get some folks to sign up, and we'll put it together. But for now, it's just sort of tentative, but we have commitments from all those instructors that we just talked about, and they're excited to come back and put on another class for us. So
that's great.
If you've never been, you should go. You should come, and you'll enjoy it. And lots of great people and lots of great carving instructors, and it's just a great time.
Yeah. I don't want to necessarily put Cheryl Ayers on the spot or Kathy Jensen on the spot, but since they're here, I can. I know, Kathy, I assume you've aborted the January show for Coastal Carvers in Lincoln City.
Yeah, I'm one of the co-chairs. Yeah.
Yeah. And you just assume it'll be a year later than that, or you're going to try to do some makeup if it's possible later on in the year?
It's going to be in January 2021.
21, 22, 22 or 21?
21. I think we'll be okay by then. If not, it'll be the next year.
I mean, you talking about next January? And
Yes.
when 1 month, in 1 month, okay,
No, not this coming January. I'm sorry, 2022. You're right.
22,
Sorry.
okay.
Yeah, sorry.
And Cheryl, I know you're from Capital Carvers, but anybody else have be a spokesperson for Capital Carvers about the possibility of they're thinking about a show in the spring?
Yeah, the Capital Carvers are still, our show is on our calendar for April, but we haven't had a meeting in months, and you know, like everything else, it's still tentative, but it is on the calendar, and I'm sure that we're making some decisions
Yeah.
fairly soon about whether or not that's going to happen or not.
Okay. Let me just make one final comment before we turn back to Gil. Masa is on the call without a video, but Masa is a carving instructor for us at the Guild of Oregon Woodworkers. He was a pioneering carver at the Western Woodcarvers Association, starting in the mid-1980s. He's a Japanese carver, does incredible work. He's done, I think we had him do 3 classes for us before we had to shut down. And so just pay attention in your own mind if you see us advertising more of the opportunities to learn from Masamichi Nitani. He goes by Masa. He's a very interesting, a very skilled carver and a very important person in our lives. So Gil, I'm going to spotlight you, and if I can find you, there we go.
Okay, I think what we can do right now is we're going to do a little bit of texturing in the hair. So I wanted you to see that before we leave. And I'm just using a 1/4 inch V tool.
With the grain, across the grain, every which way?
Every which way.
Is there a way to generate random patterns that make it look realistic? How do you start?
Well, I just try to envision how the hair would lay on his head. As you can see by this carving, this is what I'm trying to achieve.
So it's pretty deep cuts, it looks like.
Yeah, it's fairly deep. But this is the quickest, I think the best way to do hair texture. Sometimes it might be a good idea to go ahead and use a pencil to kind of pencil in before you commit to using a cutting tool.
Yeah. I'm gonna put let's see, Colin in Australia said that online can work, has to work. So many carvers are so distant from each other that online contacts connect so many. And Colin, if you're still there, could you put in the chat how people could connect with your club, your group? Yvonne, I don't understand the question. When would you use a soft V? So the question from Yvonne is, when would you use a soft V?
Well, using the soft V carving, but some of the other carvings you would. I'm not sure exactly how I can explain to do that here, but soft involved in this carving. This is a true V that I'm using now.
A which? True V. Which what? 60 degree kind of a thing? More?
This is about a 60, 70 degree V tool. Yeah.
Do you sell or do you find usage for 45 or 35 degree V tools?
We make a 25-degree V tool, which we call a tight V, which comes in handy for a lot of things, for undercutting and all that. Is our video any better? Or is it still kind
Yeah,
of jump?
no, for me, it's actually better. I don't know if it is for everybody else. We still have the same number of people online. So thank you all for being patient.
Yes.
Again, I'm going to use the same V tool for the eyebrows. I apologize for the things that's happened here tonight. A couple of things didn't go well, so hopefully
Having the shop full of smoke didn't help.
having a shop full of smoke is not the best thing to happen.
Kind of ruin your day, yeah.
It does,
Well,
yeah.
I would say if only two things bothered us, I think we're doing pretty good. There's only one time in the last couple of months that I've ever had nothing go wrong. And the trouble is, something different goes wrong every time. And so the question, it's always a learning experience. I want to stop learning.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the finish the ears now. What I'm doing now is I'm using a 3/16 number 9. First I'm gonna cut with that tool. I'm gonna cut the trachea of the ear, which is there. Do that on both the ears. Then I'm gonna take my knife, the top of that trachea, and I'm gonna do, it's like a question mark around the perimeter of the ear. Straight in stop cut. And then you relieve the wood to that stop cut. It's a pretty simple ear, but it's effective. Looks good.
So Gil, Tom asked a question about GoPro. You experimented with that. Did you have any luck with doing anything of that, or did you not were you not able to experiment with it?
I wasn't able to do much experimenting with it because it's hard to connect GoPro to iPhone to Zoom and all that. It just doesn't work very well.
So Chuck asked the question, the knives sold online, if so, what's the website? And the answer is yes. Just Google Drake Knives. Is your website drakeknives.com?
It is, yes.
Yeah, so drakeknives.com.
So we're pretty much done with the face. It could use some refinement with more time. But I think he's looking pretty good. He looks I haven't finished the hair yet, but I wanna try to do, if we have time, try to create a shirt and a collar. Have you have you already, did you do anything about the knives, the giveaway knives?
No, not yet. We will shortly.
Okay.
In fact, we might do that maybe before everybody decides that maybe abort. But Terry, I'm going to put you on the spot. Maybe you can. I'm going to leave Gil highlighted, and Gil's got 4 knives he's going to give away, and we'll let him describe them in a moment. What the pros and cons of the hollow ground. But Terry, unmute yourself and then call out the first person's name, and let's see if then whoever gets named gets called. Could you unmute and just say that you're here or not? I'm going to put the participant list. Maybe I can spot them as well. But
Alrighty. I checked these people and they were here a few minutes ago, so we'll see. How about John Wheeler? Is John still with us?
yes, I see him here.
Yeah,
And
there he is.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm still here.
Cool. Good, good. How about David Burgess?
I'm here.
Cool. All right. Great, great. And Colin Pilgrim. We're going halfway around the world.
Hey, mate. Yay.
And Yvonne Bailey. I saw Yvonne there a minute ago. She asked the salt fee question, I think.
I'm here. I'm
Well,
so excited.
We got
I'm
4
so
winners.
I want a knife.
You sure did.
I'm
Don't
so
say
excited.
you never won anything.
I'm so
Alrighty.
excited.
Okay, so I think we have emails
What a
for
night.
everybody. Maybe Larry's got the addresses. If not, we'll find out
I'll need-
where to send the stuff.
I think I've got the physical addresses for everybody but call, and I assume that we'll figure that out.
I
Okay.
have that.
Colin, you may get yours by next Christmas. I don't know. How long does it take to get stuff down to Australia in the pandemic now?
Actually, you can.
That was a joke. Well, I'm sure it'll get there long before then.
We'll figure
The
that out.
mailing has gotten much better, but I can't really. I don't really know how long it'll take for Australia, but
About 2 weeks.
probably about 2 weeks, Bonnie says.
Okay. So Gil, do you want to talk about the hollow ground knife that you've designed? And
Yeah, basically
what's that about?
it's the knife shape is basically the same as our 1.5 straight edge cutting tool. But if you understand hollow ground, what it is the grind on the side of the blade is more hollow. In other words, I don't know if maybe I can draw it here better. It's more like that. That's exaggerated, but it allows the wood to get, it's so much easier. It cuts so much easier. It cuts like butter, but the only problem with it might be, it might have the edge might be a little more brittle, but I found if I do a Rockwell 60 on the steel, this holds up really well. Now I've carved this whole piece and there was no problems at all. So I feel like they're going to be fine.
Is this knife in production or is it experimental knife? And you want these people to give you feedback? Where are you at in production?
I'd like some feedback on it. It's an experimental knife. So it's the first time I've done this knife. So I'd appreciate some feedback from those of you that that want a knife tonight.
And it'll be shipped out either today, tomorrow, or the next day.
We can ship these tomorrow because they're ready to go now.
Okay. I will get you the addresses in the morning.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
No, thank you. I don't know if Marty Lawrence is still on. Marty is new. It's not new, but Marty is new to the Oregon Carvers Guild, but she's been active in the Guild of Oregon Woodworkers, and she's joined the executive team for the Oregon Carvers Guild, and she's going to be working on membership development. We are trying to rebuild this club, and we started with about 15 people from Western Wood Carvers at the end of June, and we've doubled the size of that. Now we're up to 30. So thank you for those of you that joined. We're trying to earn your dues and earn your membership, but in some sense the money is insignificant for your dues. What's really important is to figure out how we can motivate more people to give a little bit of their time. Because unless we can get a club that is actually a cooperative organization that is putting energy together, whether it's little or big, it doesn't really matter. But in the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. Marty is trying to reach out to people, particularly for the people that will end up being the first 100 members, to have a line of communication with them and with you, so you can expect some interaction.
No screen, you just.
Larry, I'm here, and I just wanted to say hello, everybody. Please anticipate that I will be contacting you by email
One more time, then show up.
after the new year. Happy holidays.
Okay,
Really, very hard to see my eye.
Okay, back to Gil. Okay, sorry, Gil, for the interruption.
Oh, no problem. Almost done for tonight. That's about all I can do on this piece for now. It's I think you have a good idea of what we're doing here. But
can you talk about the big bugaboo? The big bugaboo after this about finishing. You know, what strategy would you use, or strategies would you use for finishing?
What I normally do is when I finish carving, I take it and I wash it with soap and a scrub brush, and while it's still wet, I use acrylics, wash coat of acrylics, and after that's all dry and finished, I will I have an oil I'm sorry, liquid satin wax that I put on it. It has some dark colors in it that brings the highlights out of the carving and also seals it. But normally I just use the wash coat of acrylics on the wet wood. That's how I paint.
So what's the purpose of soap?
Well, sometimes your hands are dirty when you're carving, and you get, the carving gets dirty, so you want to scrub it and get all get all the dirt off of it. And also, while it's still wet, it's the paint flows much easier, and it's easier to paint.
So some of the soap residue is still on when you're putting the wash coat on. Is that the idea?
No, I rinse the soap residue off. I rinse it off and just towel dry it and then paint it.
Okay. So Harvey here in Portland asked, you're not doing any sanding afterwards?
No, no sanding, no. Nope.
Yeah. How do you sharpen the hollow ground? Is the sharpening process different?
It's exactly the same as, let me get a strop and I'll show you. Here's a sec. I'm using a green compound, which is chromium oxide. But what I would do is lay the knife flat on the strop and just pull it away from the cutting edge with like medium force. And then do the same on the other side. But you strop it exactly the way you would any other flat ground knife.
If you nick the blade, is the grinding a different process, or would just?
That's basically the same, but if you have to regrind a hollow grind, you're probably gonna change it. You're probably gonna make it a flat grind from there, but unless you understand how the hollow grind is made, you won't be able to bring it back to hollow grind, but you can take away a small nick and hollow grind much easier with the hollow grind than with flat grind.
Yeah. Could you talk about the Northwest Carving Academy, the kind of things you've taught there?
Oh, I've done spoon carving. What else have I done?
Caricatures. You've done
I've done
caricature
caricatures,
cowboy.
spoon carving.
We're mostly just vendors there.
We're mostly just vendors there, but
Green spoons.
I'm sorry?
Green spoons. You taught carving green spoons.
Green
spoons, yes.
Green spoons.
Yeah,
Green,
that
green
was
birch.
fun. I love carving spoons.
Okay.
And green wood. Yeah.
I actually love carving anything, any kind of carving. It's a great to me. I just love it.
In the academy, just.
So Gil and Bonnie, there's several people here from the Tri-Valley Carving Club in the Bay Area, and they say hi and thank you, and hi and thank you. And then there were a few. Yvonne is one of them, but a few from the Central Coast Woodcarvers in Morro Bay area, kind of in that central coastal valley.
Yeah, we used to do shows down in the San Jacinto or in Temecula, in that area.
Yeah. Maybe someday again.
Yeah.
So if anybody has questions, you can turn your mic, you unmute yourself and ask the question, or put them on chat. One question is, Gil, do you sell your knives unhandled?
No, we don't. We don't sell the blade unhandled. No.
So Gil, I think when we saw you before, you said you would resharpen tools that that customers had problems with. Will you do that with these new knives also?
Absolutely. Yeah, no problem. Same guarantee.
Very good.
Do you have a guess of when the hollow ground knives will be available for sale?
Maybe spring.
Probably early after the holidays. And we're going to be going to Arizona about the 20th of December. I'd have to make them down there, so it would be early spring. They would be ready, so I'd have to make them while I'm in Arizona.
Okay, first half of the year, but not for several months yet.
Right.
Okay.
Am I on?
You're on.
Oh, hi. Gil, I've been taking classes with Chris Hammock, and he told me to be sure to tell you he said hello. But next week, if my knife's here, I'll be using it with a class with Chris.
Oh,
Oh,
great.
fantastic. I think you'll like it. I
Say,
love the knife.
I'm really excited.
say hi to Chris for us.
I will. Yeah,
Thanks.
I took a class this morning with him, and he's, I was telling him I was going to watch this, and he says, "Will you be sure to tell them I said hello?" And I said, "I will."
A great guy.
Well, I
Wonderful
really, I
carver.
really appreciate all you guys joining tonight. I'm sorry for the little technical difficulties and things we had, but we'll try to improve on that.
Well,
That's
you'll
good.
you'll either be lucky or you won't. I'll just make a final comment. I asked Gil to, if he's willing. He seems to be willing as he moves down to Arizona for a while, then back again, to do more of these demos, particularly sharpening. Sharpening seems to be a bugaboo for a lot of people. And my recommendation to him, and I don't know if it'll work out, is to actually do 2 sessions on sharpening. One is on sharpening by hand, kind of following through the YouTube video that he put together about repairing a damaged knife point, but kind of looking beyond that for using some hand stones. The other is by power, using the either belt sanders or some combination, but not necessarily the professional grade equipment that he's got, but what we might have in our own shops. About half a dozen of us built the grinder-based honing stropping system that he uses, and it's turned out to be a real benefit. But any tips for sharpening would be great. My sense is kind of the universals in this area of carving that unites us all are tools, tool selection, sharpening, and design. No matter whether it's design of a bird or design of a caricature or design of a relief, but there's a set of generic things beyond the specifics.
Yeah, I'd be happy to work with you on that later. Yeah.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, and we realize you're busy and got a business to run and a life to live. See, where do we get caricature kits? I assume you Chuck. You asked the question. I assume you're talking about the rough out models that you had. You can order them from you. Are they on your Shopify thing, or do you have to send you an email or give you a call?
You have to give me a call. But they're not rough outs; they're castings of the different.
Thank you.
And there's a total of six casting steps, 6 steps to get to the final piece.
Okay, so look up their phone number and give them a call.
Yeah, it's all on the website.
Yeah. So Colin Pilgrim in Australia says, "Great knives, I say, are the very best in the world." Lots.
Oh.
Well, thank you, Colin.
Yeah. I got a bunch and I use them a lot, so I like them too. Okay, I think we'll call it a night, folks. Thank you for Gil and Bonnie for doing this. Thanks for showing your cat. It looks very contented. And thank you all for attending and coming. And look forward to next time. And if you haven't done so, consider signing up for the Leroy Stutzoil talk on the 2nd Tuesday in January. This is an unusual program on a Wednesday because we scheduled it specially. But anyway, thanks. So I'll pull the plug in a moment and say thanks to all. I'll file the comments so that the chats, so we've got them.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Larry.
Okay, well, thank you.
Colin says Thursday here. Well, except for the smoky shop, I think that went pretty well. The freezing.
So you're still online. You're still.
Oh, you are.
Listen, you're welcome. I just want to warn you. I'm trying to figure out how to save the chat. So that's. And there's still 20 people. Still 20 people listening in, but that's okay. You're amongst friends.
Yeah, it got pretty smoky in here.
Did it? That's pretty scary when that happens. I'm afraid.
But it was a simple solution, so that was good. Good night.
Ta-ta.
some reason, my whole thing just froze and I can't stop it. So I'm going to blow this away and we'll see everybody next time. Take care.